Hello and welcome back to the channel. When I first started getting into content creating, I didn't expect anyone to show up. I really didn't. I did this because I have a lot of passion when it comes to flight simming. Now, let's be real. I first started flight sim content back in 2020, but it was very minor with the content I was posting. I was trying to do little series. I had no idea how any of this stuff worked. And all of it was just because I had a few minutes of spare time to create a video, do some minor editing, and pop it up on YouTube. Well, things got more serious, I would say, about a year ago, because that's when I actually started focusing on what I want to do with this channel and what can help me stand apart from other creators in the flight sim world. And I think that's probably the biggest challenge that a lot of people have when it comes to making content, right? Whether it's flight sim or some other hobby you might have, finding a way that makes you unique among the others. Because I've said it many times here on my own personal channel, and that is I don't have the most exciting personality. I don't have the most exciting streams or content out there. But what makes this channel unique is the story behind everything. And that brings us to the second part of things, which is why did I even get into this to begin with, right? And honestly, it's because I love helping people. I love sharing the wealth of knowledge that I've learned over the past 5 years, more importantly, over the past 5 years with flight simming. I've been simming since 1999, back with Flight Sim 98, my old HP computer. And I didn't take it serious. I didn't back then, for sure. I had a little Sidewinder joystick, right? No rudder pedals, no other peripherals other than keyboard and mouse. And when I did a flight plan, I put in for destination, location. That was it. I went from point A to point B with no stars, no SIDS, no vectors. It was straight on. And when I had to find the airport, good old back in Flight Sim 98, you've seen as a mesh of colors where you're like, okay, that looks to be the airport I'm going to be landing at. And then you just decide which runway you're going to go on. Clear skies, always daytime, right? It was the perfect day to fly. And that's what I did for the majority of my flight simming when I first started. It wasn't until Flight Sim 2020 where I really got a lot more passionate about the sim. I've loved aviation for as long as I can possibly remember, but putting in the time and effort into simming was not even close to interest to me. So when I started learning, I started finding other content creators out there. Back then it was content creators, not others. And I started to add in new skill sets to me. How do you properly fly a Cessna 152, 172? How do you file a flight plan? What is the sim brief and navigraph thing that people talk about? How do you program an FMC in the Airbus? These are things that are all foreign to me, but I had a lot of interest in learning that stuff. And over the past couple of years, I've gathered so much knowledge. I've spent a lot of money on different sceneries and different planes and different peripherals, and I'm willing to and want to share everything that I've gained from flight simming so that those who might be new to the sim have a way in to the sim. Now, I'll be very honest, I am not here for the very new beginning people. If you're for the very first time getting into sim and you don't know how to fly a 172, 152, whatever it be, this probably isn't the place to come to. Very honest with that. But if you're kind of been toying with it for a little bit, you're like, hey, you know what? I'm kind of interested in Honeycomb Alpha. What is that thing all about? This might be the channel for you, because not only do I cover hardware stuff, but I also cover a lot of software related stuff. And when I got into this stuff about 1.5 years ago or so, I started using AIATC, which is kind of where the story of this channel came from. It was a way to learn how does ATC work, because prior to I was using the default Microsoft Flight Sim ATC, and we all know, especially back in the days, it wasn't the greatest thing in the world, right? And even 2020s, while improved, still had a lot to be desired. So that's when AIATC started coming into play. And I started learning, well, how do you talk to ATC? Because I have no idea. I've watched movies, seen TV shows, but I don't know how to actually talk to ATC. Well, you use tools like Live ATC, and you listen to real world pilots talking to ATC, because the part that I'm interested in is the pilot, right? Not as ATC, not as the controller. So I just got to learn half of it. How do you do it consistently, and how do you do it correctly? And that's what brought my interest into all this. And then, I got on VATSIM and I listened to other sim pilots talking to ATC. How do I mimic them on a consistent basis? And then that drove me into more knowledge when it comes to ATCs. How do you file the flight plan properly? How do you fly the flight plan properly, right? Etc. If you get vectors, how do you program that into the FMC? How do you do any of this stuff? Well, that is where this channel came to, because I learned so much knowledge from other people, from my own personal research, that now I want to share all of the things I've learned. What I've learned, certain peripherals, they're not great. Are they great for beginners? Probably if you're on a tight budget, but they're not the best things to buy. If you want to get the best bang for your buck, well, here's something I can recommend, right? And I know that everyone's background's a little bit different. I know everyone's income level's a little bit different. I know everyone's priorities are a little bit different. But if I can at least provide you with some of the knowledge, some of the skills, some of the information I have obtained over this time, well, that is what this channel is all about. And on that journey, I've got to meet some amazing people. Amazing people. Big shout out to Irishman. Big shout out to Will and P2 and Fry and Jay Russ. There are many, many others. I'm sorry I'm not mentioning you all, but there are many other people that I've got to meet in this community, and it's amazing. And it's not just because they came to my community here, or our community, it's because I met them in other communities as well. And there's a lot of communities that overlap, and I think that's fantastic when we can all have kind of our own little, bubble of things, but we all mesh within that bubble. Kip on the ground, 757 Spy, right? Get to mesh with all these different bubbles and all these different creators out there and get to learn from them. And other sim pilots, you get to learn more information, and that's what makes it so much fun within the sim. I posted a video a few months back. It was about my health journeys and how flight sim has helped me get to the point to where I am today, and how it's more than just a hobby, but it helps keep me healed and connected. It makes me want to fly again. Before I really got serious into flight simming, I was playing a bunch of games. And I'll be very honest, I almost only do flight sim nowadays. And it's not because it's a chore to me. It's not because I'm bored with something else. It's because I love doing what I do. I love making content. I love live streaming. I love connecting with my community, our community, or other communities as well. I find a lot of passion in that. I love sharing stories with people, and I love sharing knowledge with people. So that's how I got started. For those interested in getting into content creating for flight sim, do it. Absolutely do it. And don't care if one person comes, if two persons come, if three people come, right? Care about doing what you love doing. If it's about sharing knowledge, that's a great start. If it's about showing off features about planes or flight sim or sceneries, hardware, do it because you have a passion for doing it. And don't let numbers or views ever deter you for continuing on that path. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you for the next one. Take care.